There is a version of you that has ruined more opportunities than any enemy ever could. A version that shows up when things get hard, when progress slows, when motivation fades, when discipline demands a price. That version whispers comfort. It offers excuses. It negotiates delays. It tells you tomorrow will be better. That version is not tired. It is not broken. It is not unlucky. It is weak. And if it stays alive, everything you want dies instead. This is the truth no one likes to hear. You don't fail because life is unfair. You fail because you quit internally long before you quit externally. You quit when you stop trying fully. When you start doing the minimum. When you start pretending effort is effort. That's the version of you that must die. Not dramatically, not emotionally, completely. Because you cannot build a dangerous future while dragging a weak identity behind you. It doesn't work. You cannot outwork self-sabotage. You cannot outgrow habits you refuse to kill. You cannot become disciplined while still protecting the part of you that runs at the first sign of discomfort. That part has had enough control. Look at your past. Look at how many times you started strong and faded quietly. How many plans died not because they were impossible, but because they required consistency? How many versions of your future were abandoned because you chose relief over responsibility? That wasn't bad luck. That was quitting in slow motion. And every time you did it, you reinforced an identity. The identity of someone who stops. Someone who gives in. Someone who can't be trusted under pressure. That identity is heavy. It drains confidence. It poisons ambition. It makes even small challenges feel overwhelming. And then you wonder why you feel stuck. This is why. You are carrying a version of yourself that does not deserve to survive. And before you get defensive, understand this. Killing that version is not about hatred. It's about respect. Respect for your potential. Respect for the future you keep dreaming about. Respect for the time you're wasting every day you let weakness make decisions for you. This is not about becoming heartless. It's about becoming disciplined. Discipline is ruthless because it has to be. Weakness does not leave voluntarily. It has to be starved. It has to be denied. It has to be ignored until it stops speaking. The problem is you've been listening to it like it deserves a vote. It doesn't. That voice that says rest more, scroll more, start later, quit early. That voice is not protecting you. It's keeping you small. And small feels safe until you realize how painful it is to stay there. The pain you avoid today becomes the regret you live with tomorrow. And regret is heavier than discipline will ever be. Discipline hurts once. Regret hurts every day. This is the trade no one explains. You will suffer either way. The only choice you have is whether you suffer growing or suffer stagnating. The version of you that quits chooses stagnation every time. It chooses comfort now and pain later. The disciplined version chooses pain now and freedom later. And freedom is worth the price. But you don't get it while weakness is still alive. You don't get it while excuses still sound reasonable. You don't get it while quitting. The version of you that quits must die. Not tomorrow, not eventually. Today, every day, in small moments, in decisions no one sees. That's where the real battle happens. Not in dramatic turning points, in boring choices, in daily routines, in whether you do the thing when you don't feel like it. That's where identities are built or destroyed. Right now, your quitting version is strong because you fed it. You fed it with skipped workouts, with delayed work, with comfort disguised as self-care, with lies you told yourself about being tired or overwhelmed when the truth was you just didn't want to push, and it grew. Just like any habit grows when repeated. You don't kill it with motivation. Motivation is emotional. Weakness is patient. You kill it with rules, with non-negotiables, with standards that don't bend when feelings fluctuate. You decide who you are before the moment arrives. You decide that quitting is not an option, not because you feel brave, but because you removed the option entirely. This is how strong people operate. They don't rely on willpower. They remove decisions. They simplify life. They design environments where weakness has no room to breathe. That's discipline. It's boring. It's strict. It's effective. And once you experience life without the constant inner debate, you'll realize how much energy you were wasting arguing with yourself. That argument is exhausting. That's the real burnout. Not the work. The constant negotiation. Should I do it? Can I skip? Is it okay if I rest? That mental friction drains you. When you kill the quitting version, the noise stops. You don't feel hyped. You feel clear. You feel calm. You feel focused. Because there is no debate anymore. The work gets done. Period. That clarity is power. And power changes how you move through the world. You stop panicking under pressure. You stop collapsing when things go wrong. You stop making excuses when life doesn't go your way. Because you already decided who you are. Someone who doesn't quit. Someone who adapts. Someone who executes. This is the identity you are stepping into. And it will cost you. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you excuses. It will cost you the approval of people who liked the old version of you because it made them feel better about staying the same. Let them go. They are not your future. The future belongs to the version of you that finishes what it starts. That version doesn't need hype. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need permission. It just needs consistency. And consistency is built one decision at a time. Kill the habit of stopping early. Kill the habit of quitting when it gets uncomfortable. Kill the habit of betraying yourself for temporary relief. Do it quietly. Do it daily. Do it without drama. Because the loudest transformations happen in silence. And when the quitting version finally starves, something else takes its place. Confidence, self-respect, stability, momentum. You will feel different, heavier, grounded, dangerous, in a calm way. Not because you're angry, but because you're reliable. And reliability is rare. That's why it stands out. That's why it wins. You don't become dangerous by feeling inspired. You become dangerous by becoming consistent when inspiration disappears. This is where most people fall apart. They love the idea of transformation, but hate the process that demands it. They want the identity without the sacrifice. They want the results without the repetition. They want the respect without the discipline. And when reality refuses to bend, they retreat. That retreat is the quitting version fighting for survival. It gets louder when you're tired. It gets smarter when you start improving. It learns how to sound reasonable. It says you deserve a break. It says balance matters. It says you've done enough for today. But enough is never enough when you're trying to escape mediocrity. Enough is the word average people use to justify staying average. The truth is uncomfortable. You will never accidentally become great. You will never drift into dominance. Everything meaningful is built deliberately, and deliberate action feels heavy. It feels lonely. It feels repetitive. That's why most people don't last. They confuse boredom with burnout. They confuse discipline with punishment. They confuse discomfort with danger. And so they stop. Not because they had to, because they chose to. You need to understand something clearly. Every time you stop when things get hard, you are training yourself to stop again next time. Quitting is a skill, and you've been practicing it whether you admit it or not. That's why your confidence feels fragile. That's why pressure makes you anxious. That's why challenges feel personal. Your nervous system has learned that retreat is the solution, and now you're trying to build strength on top of a foundation trained to collapse. It won't hold. You have to rewire yourself. And rewiring is violent. It requires repetition under stress. It requires choosing action when your body wants escape. That's how new identities are forged, not in comfort, in resistance. The quitting version thrives in softness, in flexibility, in endless options. The disciplined version thrives in structure, in routine, in rules that don't change based on mood. This is why high performers look boring from the outside. Same wake-up. You need to do the same. Stop romanticizing motivation. It tells you no one will know. It tells you it doesn't matter. It tells you one miss won't ruin everything. It's lying. One miss doesn't ruin everything. But repeated misses become identity. Identity becomes destiny. And destiny doesn't care about intentions. It only reflects future you want or protecting the comfort you're addicted to. Comfort is addictive. It numbs early another chance. And today is where discipline is either practiced quietly. They don't crash. They fade. They slowly lower standards. They slowly accept less. They slowly become someone they promised themselves they'd never be. That's the real tragedy. Not failure, betrayal of self. That betrayal destroys self-trust. And without self-trust, nothing works. You can't build confidence without it. You can't stay disciplined without it. You can't respect yourself without it. That's why killing the quitting version matters so much. It restores trust. Every time you do what you said you would do, you deposit into your self-respect. Every time you don't, you withdraw. Eventually, the account is empty. And when it's empty, you feel hollow, lost, unmotivated. That's not a mystery. That's math. Rebuild the account. Keep promises to yourself even when they're small, especially when they're small. Small promises kept consistently create a strong identity. Big promises broken create fragile egos. You don't need to feel powerful. You need to act reliable. Power follows reliability. This is the mindset shift. Stop asking how to feel motivated. Ask how to remove excuses. Stop waiting for the right mood. Build routines that don't care about mood. Stop hoping discipline will come. Practice it until it's automatic. This is how you kill the quitting version. You don't fight it emotionally. You outgrow it structurally. You design your day so there's no room for negotiation. Wake up. Execute. Train. Work. Improve. Repeat. Simple. Not easy. Simple. And simplicity is threatening to weak identities because it removes hiding places. You can't hide behind confusion when the rules are clear. You either did the work or you didn't. That clarity is uncomfortable at first. Then it becomes freeing because progress becomes inevitable. And when progress becomes inevitable, fear loses its grip. You stop fearing failure because you know you'll keep going regardless. That's real confidence. Not believing you'll win every time. Knowing you won't quit when you don't. That's the difference. Winners aren't special. They're stubborn. Stubborn in standards. Stubborn in effort. Stubborn in identity. Decide who you are. Someone who finishes. Someone who pushes. Someone who doesn't negotiate with weakness. Then prove it daily. Quietly. Relentlessly. Until the old version has nothing left to say. You've made it this far. That already separates you from most people. Because most people quit mentally before they ever quit physically. They stop listening when the truth gets uncomfortable. They click away when the mirror turns toward them. But you stayed. And that means something inside you knows the version of you that quits cannot be allowed to live anymore. That version has cost you years. It has stolen potential. It has robbed you of respect. It has kept you small while you pretended you were being patient. That version of you is not unlucky. It is undisciplined. It is addicted to comfort. It is addicted to excuses. And if you don't kill it, it will kill everything you could have been. This is where it ends. Not softly, not gently, completely. The version of you that quits does not deserve another chance. How many chances has it already had? How many Mondays? How many fresh starts? How many promises you didn't keep? You already know the pattern. Motivation hits. You feel powerful. You talk big. You plan. And then resistance shows up. Fatigue. Boredom. Fear. And suddenly the quitting version takes over. It whispers that you can do it tomorrow. That you deserve rest. That it's not that serious. And every time you listen, you shrink. Every time you obey that voice, you lose self-respect. That's why you feel angry for no clear reason. That's why you feel empty even when things are okay. That's why you feel behind even when you're moving. It's not life. It's not luck. It's not other people. It's the fact that you keep betraying yourself. And deep down, you know it. So let's stop lying. Let's stop pretending the problem is external. The enemy is internal. It's the version of you that avoids pain, the version of you that escapes discomfort, the version of you that wants results without sacrifice. That version has to die. Not someday, not slowly. Now, death is not always violent. Sometimes it's starvation. You starve it of excuses. You starve it of comfort. You starve it of shortcuts. You stop feeding it validation. You stop negotiating with weakness. You stop asking how you feel before you act. Because discipline does not care how you feel. Discipline cares about what must be done. This is the moment where you decide who controls your life, your emotions, or your standards. Because both cannot lead. One must die. If emotions lead, discipline dies. If discipline leads, weakness dies. Choose. There is no third option. Becoming dangerous is not about anger. It's about control. Control over your body. Control over your thoughts. Control over your reactions. Control over your habits. Dangerous people don't explode emotionally. They execute calmly. They move with intention. They suffer in silence. They don't announce their grind. They don't beg for motivation. They don't need hype. They show up because it's who they are. That's what you're building now. An identity that doesn't quit. An identity that doesn't fold under pressure. An identity that doesn't look for exits when things get hard. This is where the real work begins. Not when you feel inspired, but when you don't. When you wake up tired. When your mind is heavy. When your body resists. When nobody is watching. When nobody cares. That's where the separation happens. That's where killers are made. Not killers of people. Killers of weakness. Killers of excuses. Killers of the old self. Every day is a decision. Either you feed the version of you that quits, or you starve it. Either you obey comfort, or you obey standards. Either you stay average, or you become dangerous. And let me tell you something most people won't. This path is lonely. You will outgrow people. You will lose connections. You will feel misunderstood. You will feel isolated. But that loneliness is the price of self-mastery. Weak people need company. Strong people need purpose. When you stop quitting, your life changes quietly. You stop explaining yourself. You stop complaining. You stop reacting emotionally. You stop chasing approval. You move differently. You speak less. You observe more. You become grounded. People feel it before they understand it. They won't know why your presence feels heavy, why your words carry weight, why your eyes look calm. That's because you killed the weak version of you. And strength has a presence. Discipline has a presence. Self-respect has a presence. This is not about becoming heartless. It's about becoming relentless. Relentless with your standards. Relentless with your habits. Relentless with your time. Relentless with your goals. Because nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is coming to push you. Nobody is coming to hold you accountable. If you don't do it, it won't get done. And once you accept that fully, something shifts. You stop waiting. You stop hoping. You stop wishing. You start moving. Even when it hurts. Especially when it hurts. Pain becomes familiar. Discomfort becomes normal. And suddenly, life gets quieter, clearer, sharper. Because you are no longer at war with yourself. The war is over. The weak version lost. From this point forward, you don't ask for motivation. You act. You don't negotiate with your mind. You command, and that is the most dangerous form of confidence. The kind that doesn't need to prove anything. The kind that doesn't speak loudly. The kind that just shows up and dominates quietly. Remember this moment. Remember how this feels. Because there will be days when the old version tries to come back. It will whisper again. It always does, but now you know. You don't reason with it, you don't debate it, you don't listen to it. You kill it again, every day, through action, through discipline, through consistency. That is the cost, and that is the power. This is not motivation. This is a warning. Either you become dangerous, or life will continue to dominate you. Either you kill the version of you that quits, or it will keep killing your future. The choice is yours. Make it permanent. And as you step forward, into what comes next, into the year ahead, into the work that waits for you, understand this. You are not starting over. You are starting different, stronger, sharper, more disciplined, more ruthless with your potential. Best of luck for what you are about to become. Not because it will be easy, but because you finally decided to stop quitting. And that changes everything.